Welcome. I am so excited to introduce you all to Faith Clarke, who is an organizational health and inclusion specialist. And she works with organizations that are committed to healthy workplace culture. She helps people by creating systems that integrate human motivation. And we share the belief that the strength of your team is dependent on your work ecosystem. Faith and I met online quite a few months ago and decided to get together to have a series of conversations around workplace rituals and the benefits of belonging, how that decreases turnover. Our conversation goes into a lot of really interesting areas. So I'm excited to bring this conversation to you. Called quiet quitting, or where I think it's like 80% of employees are not engaged in the workplace. And so what is going on with that? Why is this happening? And how do we create a space where people can be engaged in their work?
Well, people aren't not engaged. Well, they're not engaged in their work, but they're just not engaged in the community. I think when we have shared ownership, right, and shared like goals that we all buy into, then people are more engaged. Like it feels like we. So I think lack of engagement, again, is it's not we. I work for you, but I don't work with you. So this, we are really traditionally not good at creating with, because again, we inherited structures that weren't with structures. They were, I tell you what to do, you do it for me, and I hand you money or whatever compensation for it. So if we just kind of zoom into the team level, because I like to work at a team level, it's a manageable size to work at versus the whole organization. Within a team, it's easy to see engagement drop. If you're looking, you can feel people's energy shift. I think being persistent and pursuing that and being willing to hear the hard things will help you know what needs to be addressed, so that there can be this more shared sense of communal problem solving. So delegating tends to cause people to not necessarily feel super engaged, because it's not our problem, it's your problem, and you decided who should do what. What if it was our problem and we all decided who should do what? And immediately people say to me, Faith, that takes so much time. It takes a lot of time because we're not used to doing it. Of course, all new strategies take more time than the old strategies. But if we actually build cultures where we're learning how to interrogate each other, inquire with each other, and be consensual with each other, and like collaborative with each other, we do it super fast. Because you can see this in teams that are used to being with each other, that they'll just kind of fall into sync and 5 seconds and they've replanned a whole thing, and then they move off in a collaborative way. So this reduced engagement it's for me always looks like not shared ownership, no shared sense of trust, and difficulty with collaboration. All those things kind of take out human energy, and we're just like, okay, we're here to just do this job. And the coins matter. Like the rent must be paid, the mortgage needs to be paid, the kids do still need to go to school, so I can't actually just leave. So then you have this, was it 50% of people who are hired leave within the first 2 months? The rest of them are quiet quitting, except for the 10% who have some sense of shared ownership. They can't leave. The coins matter, so they stay. But they're like, I have to manage my energy because I can't afford to have you take it all away. I can't let you extract from me in this way that feels abusive or at least doesn't feel equitable. So I manage it, right? Versus being able to talk it through and say, to me, this doesn't feel, can we discuss the workflow? Can we discuss the time that I work? Can we discuss the expectations? Can we discuss the perception that it seems to be that you have, that I should be working at 9 o'clock at night, and yet still come in at 8 in the morning? Like, can we discuss? It needs to be possible,
It really, for me, connects to health too, to all the different kinds of stress, induced issues and mental health issues, but also issues in the body like autoimmunities and heart disease and all of these things that are caused by stress. And it's like, as an employee, I think a lot of people feel like they have no agency over that. Like there is this directive of the manager of the organization over what they're going to be doing with all of their time, and the only escape is like paid time off or the holiday that comes up. And so there's this division between who I am at work and who I am as a person, and that even creates more stress in the body. So
Yeah, I mean, one of the core needs that we have is autonomy. And we think autonomy means I do what I want, but it's this sense of being a director in my own life. And so when in the workplace, we are not feeling like we're directors in our own lives, or we have to be promoted, 5 times before we can feel like we're directors in our lives. Because honestly, if some people get to make decisions about how they work and when they work, and other people don't, what we've done is create a value hierarchy. That those some people who get to be more autonomous are more valuable, are perceived as more valuable than these other people. And so we basically said some people don't deserve the autonomy. And it's, we could argue that, yes, but some people, certain types of people need more oversight. And you could argue it in a ton of ways that are just supported by older systems. It may be better to say that for the kind of work that you're doing, if you need to figure out which people can work and still be respected. Like we should not accept having people work and then treating them in ways that aren't respectful to them, right? So once we take away people's ability to be autonomous and to decide how they're delivering this work and still meeting organizational goals, we've stripped people down to a machine, and then we have bad things happening.
Yeah, and in the systems that we've inherited, there's sort of this undercurrent of I can be good to my people or I can have a profitable company, when actually it is that if you're good to your people and people participate in community and are co-creating their work and they'll work together, that the profits are follow that. It's more, I feel, at least in my own company, that it has been more of a struggle if I am the person who's dictating all of the work versus if I bring everyone together and say, okay, this is kind of what I'm thinking, what do you think? How should we do this? And that's created a lot of interesting opportunity. So what's your take on this, like people versus profit conundrum that business owners seem to keep finding themselves in?
It's like this fake, nature versus nurture argument, right? It's a rubbish argument. It's you took a side, whichever side, nature or nurture. And when I used to teach college psychology, I would say it's both. It's both nature and nurture. It's both people and profits. And until we believe that, then we're not going to act that way. When we just by calling people human resources, like by just making people a resource, what we did is just like, humans, printers, cars, like we made them assets of the business. And I think what the ethical and moral issues that's created has been in how we treat resources. Because of course, humans, printers, cars, there's a way that we treat the things that we consider to be resources. And so I don't think it's a dilemma. I think that just the same way that we have this thing of, we want this printer to last long for high-end printers. I think if you want to call humans resources, humans are the highest end resource that a business has. In which case, what are the ways to support human well-being so these humans can be effective in the work they do, not just swap them out for a cheaper model. But actually, how do we nourish humans? But the studies, people ask me about the ROI of healthy peopling, inclusion in the workplace. And I like the studies, the numbers are absolutely there all the time, easy to access. So that's not really the thing. The thing is just we have systems and we have beliefs that are founded in these systems that say, do business this particular way. And we kind of have to have almost spiritual awakening, whatever it is. We have to treat it as an ethical problem
Yeah.
And what it is that it's mistreatment of humans, even when it's just, oh, unnecessary conflict. Yes, but unnecessary conflict over and over and over again, obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, because of just the way that I am as a human. Me being afraid as a Black woman of walking down the corridor in outside of the workplace, and that I may be either harmed or spoken to in a way that doesn't feel good to me. That is harm and violence to me. And seeing that that's an ethical problem, and seeing my protection as part of what's important for the business, because I am a part of this business, that has to be the way that we focus on it. And until we do that, then we will kind of create these fake dichotomies. But the study numbers absolutely show that everybody knows that turnover, like you've shown, is half to 1.5 of this person's salary, especially higher end employees. I've worked with teams that constantly feel like they move forward and they go back, then they move forward and they go back, because 40%, especially in this whole pandemic period, when 40% of the team changes out every year. And it's like, yeah, it's the salaries don't change, but the
It just
productivity
pulls your legs out from under you. It's like you feel like you're getting somewhere, and then all these
and then
people
you just
leave, and it's just, yeah, recreating everything again.
everything. So, and everybody knows what that feels like. And if we can, we need to go fast, but we need to go slow to go fast, by healing some of the ways that we do our peopling at work, so that people feel healthy and safe, so that they're willing to stay and grow and invest and be loyal in ways that humans are loyal to football leagues, knitting clubs, and like there's no lack of human loyalty. What it is that there's spaces that don't feel good to humans.
Faith and I have put together a couple of resources for you all. The first one is a way to estimate your turnover. It's a turnover calculator, and the link for that is below. The other offering is from Faith, and that is a workshop for you and your team around ways to reduce turnover and how to get at the root cause of it and make it stop. So the links to those are below. There are a couple of questionnaires, and we would love to hear from you if this has sparked an interest in you and might be something that you would like to work on.